Hey y'all! Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and hello and welcome if you are new. I'm Danielle Henfield Pardo, your Caribbean travel specialist, and today we are continuing with our experience with Virgin Voyages.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
If you don't know, we already have two videos about our experience with Virgin. It was our very first cruise ever, and there's a story behind that. Let's get into it. So when it came to why this has been our first cruise, it is because when I was younger, I was stuck on the water 3 times. So I immediately thought that cruises, anything to do with boats, it was not for me. Can you imagine? The first time it happened, I probably was about 15 years old. We went on a field trip for school. It was a field trip that was supposed to happen from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We should have been home by 3:30 the latest. I didn't get home until 7 p.m. and that was only the first time. And it happened twice afterwards, which I'm gonna tell you about, but not today. You'll have to come back again to hear the rest of the story. Today, our focus is going to be on day 3. Day 3 on Virgin Voyages. We started the day super early. And I say super early because I'm not an early eater. Anytime between 9:30 and 10 o'clock is usually my time to eat. But because we wanted to get the kayaking in, we went to breakfast at, I think it was 8 o'clock. We just did a very small breakfast just to get us going, to get something in, and really to wake us up. We powered up on the avocado toast, and they had like this watermelon shaving something on it that just made this, it gave this nice kick at the end. So it was like you were experiencing your usual avocado toast, and then you had this nice just flavor that helped. It just made it feel indulgent, like you were having some kind of extravagant breakfast. And well, for me, that's all I was ordering. And Holly ordered like a full plate. She had her eggs, she had the candied bacon. She also had avocado toast, but as you can see how I am like, or as you can hear how I am hyping over this candied bacon. I don't know how many of you have experienced the $1 million bacon over at First Watch, because I know it is something to rave about. It's good, it's flavorful. But let me tell you, the candied bacon over at Razzle Dazzle, if you don't experience anything on this cruise and you are a meat eater and not vegan, that is definitely one you want to try. I'm a bread lover, y'all, and they had this apple croissant, and it's a cross between a muffin and a croissant because it has a croissant type pastry but shaped like a muffin, topped with some kind of cream, could be whipped cream, and apple filling. That was so lovely. I could have just had the apple croissant and the candied bacon. That probably wouldn't have provided the amount of energy that I needed for the kayaking, but it would have made me quite happy. That with some green tea and I was ready to go. However, I needed the avocado toast for the kayaking, y'all. That kayaking experience. Now, I had kayaked before because in my travels, as I explore different resorts and hotels, so one of the things that I had explored before and I found that I loved was going kayaking. So I had experienced it before with my husband, and this time around I wanted to do kayaking because it's completely different. It's with a group and we're going to explore more things. I had just kayaked along the beach. For this one, it was completely different because we actually went through a boat channel. So there's an active boat channel. So we had to stick together as a group. But like I say, this was not my first time, but this was Holly's first time. And I was thinking that, you know, because it was her first time, she would probably want to see more, get to know more. So I took the back seat and had her in front. And we should have reversed, like, because I had a little bit more experience. I should have gone in the front and kind of like help steer the boat. But we went. And it took us a little bit of time to kind of get used to the whole vibe and making sure that we're rowing together and we're not rowing one harder than the next, but going through different terrains. So we went through really a bed of seaweed that was filled with conch and stuff like that. But then we also went through the mangroves, and then so we had to really navigate through tree roots and stuff like that. And y'all, yeah, we didn't hurt the mangroves at all. Like, well, let me say, we didn't hurt the mangroves badly. We did, however, just run in or tapped the roots a little bit. Not enough to jostle them, but just enough because I wasn't at the front of the boat, and I wasn't thinking along the lines of being at the front means that you have to be the lookout. And she was the one who was taking most of the video on our trip because that is something that she loves to do. And I'm more a live in the moment person rather than like, hey, pick up the phone and video. I'm learning. I am supposed to be a millennial, but I do not subscribe to the program. I'm working on it because of my profession, because I love what I do and I love sharing stuff with you guys. And I know that I'm not able to do that if I don't have any kind of evidence to show you the experience. So working on it. However, I do want to sum up the experience with the kayaking and say that it was challenging at first because it requires teamwork, it requires unity, and for a while we had to say like left, right, so that we can make sure that we turn ourselves. And then it was a balancing act of making sure that we stay straight and don't have to do too much, because once you have to keep adjusting, then that's how you start to lag behind. But one thing I loved about it was that the instructor and the rest of the group, they waited for anyone who started to lag behind. They waited, like us basically, they waited for us to catch up. And one of the things that I liked about it too was that on the way going back, because we kayaked a pretty far distance. You might probably just see this arrow as a small spot because I took this photo from the ship. We went deep into there, basically almost to the edge of it. So that distance, we kayaked all the way there. So that is why it was suggested that, you know, if your energy levels are not up there, then you definitely don't want to really be doing this, because it does require some kind of strength. And we were tired coming back, but the instructor said that we didn't have to go at any particular pace, we can go slowly. There were a few people who were competent and confident in their kayaking skills, so they went ahead and they got back to the beach early. But a few of us kind of took our time just making sure that we got back to shore, because it was quite a distance, and didn't want to try and just exert too much energy to where we were stalled and like needing assistance to get back. But once we were done with the kayaking, we wanted to experience the beach club over at Bimini, because The beach club is actually owned by Virgin Voyages, so we definitely wanted to see what that would have been like. We caught the trolley and went over to the beach club. Now, as you can see, the beach club is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, is owned by Virgin Voyages, so it is a lot of Virgin Voyages guests, and we were hungry because we had used all of the avocado toast and whatever sweet pastry that we had, and we went straight over to grab a few bites before we go ahead and see what the beach was like. So I was looking at the different things that are on the menu. I'm allergic to coconut. So given that I'm allergic to coconut, there were certain things that I really had to scrutinize in order to say if I can eat it or not. And they had about 3 different items that had coconut on, so I needed to avoid those 3. I selected the red snapper that was cooked in bamboo leaves, the crispy cassava, and the tropical fruit as my dessert. Holly had the curry. She had curry something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But the crispy cassava and rum cake. Now the rum cake was sprinkled with coconut, so I couldn't really enjoy that. I did taste a piece from the bottom. However, growing up on the islands, my grandmother, she had a field. Well, we call it a field. You would probably call it a small patch of land or your farm in the backyard. And she would grow things like potatoes and cassavas and all of that. And I would use cassava and all of those things in soups. But I never thought to really pound it down and fry it. Y'all, that crispy cassava was so amazing. I went back for seconds. Again, this is a judgment-free zone, so I hope that you are not judging me. I went back for seconds, enjoyed that too, and then we went down to check out the lagoon pool party. When we got there, y'all see how much people was in this pool? And what I love about it is everyone participates on this cruise. So you see all of the floaties. There were groups there with their signs and their banners and taking their pictures and stuff like that. Girls, they were there dressed in their coordinated outfits. I had seen so many different groups there just enjoying themselves. And that pool was crowded. The music was good. Everybody was excited. Here, it was hyped. We got a little bit of Caribbean music here as well to enjoy on the beach. But because that pool was so crowded, we didn't join. We went on the beach. We know that Bimini is in the Bahamas. Or if you don't know, Bimini is in the Bahamas. And the Bahamas is really like a sister to Turks and Caicos. So we are basically one family. And the experience in terms of the landscape and the beaches and all of that, they are very similar. So I was expecting to see and enjoy an amazing beach. I was expecting to be able to just chill and relax. Y'all, Philippe was out there kicking up a storm. Literally. And the waves were rough. Now, on the ship, you wouldn't have felt it. I mean, that ride was so smooth, it literally was like a knife through butter. You did not feel that on the ship. But on the beach, you see how this wave is hitting me? That is how hard those waves were coming. And it was so rough that it wasn't an enjoyable experience being in the water. And so many jellyfish, they were big, y'all. So many jellyfish was in there, and it was stinging people. They were on the beach. They were just getting washed ashore. it wasn't something that we could actually enjoy for very long. So I wasn't able to stay in the water for long. Holly didn't even get in. And it was just washing a bunch of seaweed up the beach. So it wasn't an enjoyable experience at that time. But I attribute that to the fact that Philippe was out there in the water at the time, and all of the seas were high because we just had an unusual hurricane season, and all of this was just causing the ocean to just behave completely different from what is usually expected. But we didn't let that deter us. We stayed and just hung out and relaxed on the beach for a while before heading back to the ship. So we were supposed to be back on the ship by 4:30. So we left Beach Club around 3:30 just to get on a trolley that was not full and just to beat the rush. We replenished at the galley. So we didn't want to get anything too heavy because we had eaten over at the beach club. So we stopped over at the galley for some lunch and picked up, well, Holly just had soup and salad, and I grabbed a raisin. It wasn't a cinnamon roll. It was a cinnamon and raisins and other stuff roll, and I had some of her salad because the soup also had coconut because it was squash, so I wasn't able to enjoy that. But I've said before, we didn't stay in the room. We got back to the room and realized that at 5 o'clock we had booked ourselves into a Zumba class. Now, we got back to the ship, it was about 4 o'clock because we had to wait for the trolley. Then the trolley made a few stops before we actually got back to where we needed to go, and then there was a line to get back on the ship. Because a few people had the same idea that we had. Leave early, beat the crowd. And I had showered and went to sit down, check the app, the Sailor app, and realized, well, we have a class at 5. So it was like, okay, this is fine, all is well. We have a late dinner tonight, so we don't really have to rush and do anything. But we were tired, and Holly had already gone back onto the balcony and fallen asleep again. Or it took me a few minutes to be able to convince her to even go to Zumba. But we had already committed to this, so I wanted to experience it. And Zumba was so much fun. Shout out to CC Fitness. Yo! She was amazing. Talk about sassy, just enough to make sure that you be hype and all of that. And pardon me, this is me. I am not all that well coordinated with these kind of things, but I enjoy doing it anyway. So it was fun, it was hype, it was energetic. Still, yes, we still needed high energy. And after that class, we just hung out over on the on deck 16, and I ran on the runway, which is a track for runners. It's about 250 meters, and like I hadn't just spent 45 minutes running or exercising. I decided I wanted to run. I wanted to be able to say, you know what, I ran on the runway and it feels safe and it's secure. This time we had already pushed off from the dock, and you didn't feel the movement of the ship. So when you were running on the runway, it doesn't feel like you are going to fall off. It doesn't feel like it's not steady or sturdy. Your knees and your shins are definitely going to be protected. It's not hard when you're running like how it is running on pavement. It really is a good piece of equipment that they have there. Hanging out on deck 16, you will see that there are many different things that you can do in terms of exercising. I was trying to show off my skills as a boxer. Obviously I am not a pro, but there is a punching bag that you have a full-on boxing ring that you can actually be in. If you and your partner or person, whoever you are with, spars, there was a basketball court. I liked the swings that we were just hanging out in, just relaxing, because we just hung out at the back of the ship on deck 16. Sorry, my bad, pardon me, deck 15. So we hung out on deck 15, which is basically the athletics club, the athletics area, and there's so many things. If you are into fitness, that is a great place for you to hang out, especially to get in your early morning reps or your early morning exercises, or just to catch the sunrise and just hang out. One thing that I really liked about that area is that they had seesaws. Yeah, and many people were on it. They had one that was for 2 people, and there was also one that was for 4. It was fun just being able to see people let themselves relax and enjoy what was there to offer. And after we crawled back into our room, in order to keep ourselves awake, because dinner wasn't until 9:45, because we wanted to get into a specific restaurant. We wanted to get into Extra Virgin, and the only reservation time that was available was 9:45. In order to stay awake, we kind of binge watched Chicago Fire. That was available for us. I mean, ad-free on the tablet. I mean, that we could just send to the TV, which was good. So we did use the TV while we were there. And then we went to dinner, and we dragged ourselves down to Extra Virgin. We were still full from all of the food that we ate earlier, but we wanted to try the items that was on the menu here, because we wanted to see, like, will it live up to Gun Bay that we had previously? Is it as nice as the breakfast that we had at Razzle Dazzle? And it was good. I had the steak, we did the bolognese, and we tried the calamari, we tried the meatballs. The meatballs were huge, and the calamari was good, but it was just a little bit too seasoned. So it was a little heavy on the salt, so we didn't really get to enjoy it as good. We weren't able to finish that one. But we did the steak, we did the bolognese, we enjoyed both of them. And of course we had dessert. For the dessert, we had the donuts, as well as it was a trifecta, and I don't remember the names of all of them, but the donuts were really good, as well as the gâteau. I think that was that Holly had was amazing, and I loved my dessert. It was simple. It had that kick at the end. Again, like, that's one thing that they got right in terms of pairing different flavors. That was completely unexpected. It really did snap. That is something that they got right for sure in terms of the desserts and stuff like that. The desserts were top notch. I mean, the meals themselves, they were top notch. It's just the pairings that they did and the flavors that they added for that aftertaste, that kick that takes you to another level. They were all very well done. And as we were sitting down, Holly was like, yeah, so this is probably the final thing for the night, because they have the 70s night next, and I don't know how well I would be able to adjust to it, because I don't really know the 70s like that. So hearing the 70s party was like, yo, let's go. Again, going back to all of the things that people were doing here, they were themed events and everybody participated, and I love that. Like, these are adults, but we love a theme party. I loved a themed party because I was at a 70s themed party that I was able to help to plan and execute for one of my clients one of my event clients, and I would have loved to bring this outfit to be at the 70s party, but I did not. So kind of like an opportunity missed there. But the 70s party ended up being my favorite themed event for the whole trip. So that's definitely something that I would suggest you check out. This video is a little bit dark, but as you can see, I was having a ball. It was just fun. I like fun. I like to let my hair down. I want you to have fun. I want you to be able to let your hair down and just enjoy being in the moment. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video for our experience, because there was lots of fun things to do. This day was a lot of fitness and testing our limits. However, that's not what you have to do. There's so much more on the ship. I will be sharing about, especially for day 4 because it was a day at sea. There were so much things to do. There was different places to hang out. You don't have to spend your days up on the athletics deck. You could be at any hangout spot on the ship, because they have tons of things in store for you to do. I'll tell you more about them in the next video. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.